Hey there, so today I'm here in Jefferson County, Colorado, and I'm inside of a Kifaru Sawtooth shelter. So I thought while I was here I would go ahead and kind of do a little bit of an overview of the shelter. My daughter and I are here helping out with a 3-gun shoot this weekend, and one of my buddies, Scott, has a Sawtooth, so I thought I would do a little bit of an overview of it and kind of talk about it. We've spent 3 nights in this thing, and we've had all kind of different weather. While we've been here, it's been hot, it's been cold, it's sleeted a little bit. Obviously it's windy, currently windy right now, which is why I'm having to film inside, and hopefully you're still able to hear as I go through it. It's been a great little shelter. It weighs in at 4 pounds 8 ounces, so 4.5 pounds. It's got a couple of poles, so you can use your trekking poles or cut a stick and save an additional 3 ounces. It's got an advertised footprint of 13 feet 9 inches on the lengthwise, and then 8.5 feet across at the widest part. It is a tapered shelter, and so it really stands up to the wind really well. We've had some really high wind this week since we've been here, and it has withstood that. It has come from a couple of different directions throughout the last few days. Like I said, we had some sleet and some rain, and it's held up to that without any issues. We have the liner in it, so you can buy it with an additional liner that helps with the condensation that you might get. We haven't had a whole lot of bad condensation, just a little bit. We had a little bit of frost on the first night that we were here, and other than that, it has stood up really well. Most of the time I like to run a tarp pitched in a kind of a tarp tent type configuration, and this is very similar to this, although it's significantly bigger. One of the great things about this is that it's actually a lot taller in the vestibule, what I'll call the vestibule area, so it's almost 6 feet tall. I can almost stand up in it the way we've got it configured here. It's got plenty of room in the front so that I can get dressed, fix coffee, any number of things. Got plenty of room for gear besides the sleeping system. Courtney and I are set up in here kind of side by side, so it's plenty of room for the two of us to lay side by side, and again, lots of room here in the largest part of it for our gear and to stand up and get dressed and that kind of thing. We actually have a rug down below us because we're car camping essentially, and so we were able to bring a lot of extra gear, but you could also run it with your standard ground cloth or tieback or whatever you use. Other than that, we've got a sleeping pad, a couple of quilts. I got my Outdoor Vitals quilt. We did bring pillows, sleeping bag, blankets, so we got quite a bit of gear, but again, plenty of room for it. It's Kifaru Sawtooth shelter. It's a nice little setup. All right, so we weren't able to film the setup, but Courtney is going to illustrate the teardown of the Kifaru Sawtooth. So she's just going to pull the side cordage out, and you can see how they just extend out with a couple of stakes. Second side, making sure you collect your stakes. Go into the inside and go ahead and break down the poles. Hopefully we'll have enough light in here to illustrate that. Back pole breaks down into 2 pieces. Then the front pole, and you can see Courtney standing up in it, so plenty of height. I'm just going to break it down. All right, and then she's going to pull all of the stakes. I think we've got probably 7 or 8 stakes in here. All right, and then from here we're going to go ahead and just fold it up, shake out the, it's got a little bit of frost on the top of it, so we're going to shake that out and let it kind of air out, and then we're going to fit it into the compression sack that you see there, and we'll come back and illustrate that once we get it folded up and stuffed back in the compression sack. All right, so we're going to let the Sawtooth air out before we put it back in the stuff sack for obvious reasons. I did want to mention that we staked it out with, I think we used 16 stakes. You could probably get away with a bare minimum of, I would say, 7. Probably 9 would be more ideal, but somewhere in between that, depending on what kind of wind you're expecting and so forth. Anyway, that's just a real quick look at the Kifaru Sawtooth floorless shelter. Let me know if you've had any experience with the Kifaru Sawtooth shelter and what your thoughts on it are. Is it worth the price that you pay for it over the long term? Certainly it's an investment. I think Scott's gotten a lot of use out of it. I really enjoyed staying in it. It was very roomy. The ability to stand up and change clothes, put your clothes on, that kind of thing is very helpful. I still will probably stay with my normal tarp setup just because of the price, number one, and because of the multiple configurations you can get with a tarp. But I'd be curious to know, have you used the Sawtooth? And if so, let me know what your thoughts on it are. You can leave that down in the comment section below. Once again, I appreciate you joining me for this video. We've got several other videos that are coming up that I'm going to film here in Colorado. It's been a great event. Appreciate you joining me for this, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.